In your matches, you need to avoid that emotional letdown. As you play matches, there can be a lot of emotional highs and there can be a lot of emotional lows. And those emotional highs can turn out to be a low, and in this case, can be the turning point of the match. And before we get into it here, I want to say a quick thank you to Winston Du for letting me use his video. Check out his channel for some awesome tennis content, and I'll post a link to his channel in the description area. So this is Govind versus Carew. Govind here is on the front end, and Carew's at the far end. And Carew here, Carew was the one that won the match, got on a sensational comeback here. And I think this is the turning point in which Govind's level was brought back down, pretty much back to earth. And so let's check out this point real quick here.
I like that finishing volley.
So how can a point won by Govind be the turning point in which Govind's level was brought back down, paving the way for Carew's comeback here? And it is what I call the emotional letdown. So basically in sports, in tennis in particular, there's a lot of letdowns that happen. So basically, like in a tennis match, right? Say you're in a tennis match and you're facing the #1 player in the world and you beat them. You beat them in the 4th round, and in the next round, you lose to someone very much lower ranked. That is what I call a letdown, and it happens all the time in sports. You face someone, this big juggernaut of an opponent, but whoever your next opponent is, your level pretty much is brought back down, and you just don't execute that high level anymore. You know, in tennis, it happens a lot. You say you win a set, a second set tiebreaker, and then the next set, in the 3rd set, you just lose at 6-1. So letdowns happen all the time in sports, and it happens in tennis, and it happened right here. And you could kind of tell because once this point was over, if you see Govind here sticking his tongue out, I think he was pretty much gassed, and it was a very long point. It's a crazy point, very good point. He was gassed, and it was a great point, great way to end that point on that volley. And so I would be super happy to win that point, but he didn't have anything left physically or mentally in the next 2 points. And so let's check out what happened in the next 2 points. So what happened? Govind made these critical mental errors. These are decision-making errors in the next 2 points, allowing Carew to come back into this match. So in this 15-all point, Govind here has this mid-court shot here, and who knows why he went for this slice approach cross-court here, and this sailed well wide. And even if this shot went in, Carew can easily pass Govind here on this point. So big critical error on this one. In the next point, Govind serves here, and Carew has this, it was a mid-court return, but I think it had decent enough pace where Govind should not have done this drop shot here. So Govind goes for this forehand inside-out drop shot, and it floats up. It floats up super high. Easy ball for Carew to hit this winner. So 2 big critical errors, and I think I would call these mental mistakes, decision-making mistakes, where, in the first point there, in that 15-all point, Govind should have just went with a backhand cross-court, a simple backhand cross-court, not a slice approach shot. In this particular point, this 15-30 point, Govind should have just went with a forehand inside out, not a forehand drop shot inside out, or maybe even a forehand inside in. If he was mentally there or not gassed, I think he was still kind of gassed from that point, from that 15 love point or love 15 point. I think he would have made the better judgment calls, the better decision-making calls, but instead, he was emotionally let down by that point. He was on that emotional high. Very great point that he won there, but in the next 2 points, he didn't show much. And so these are mental errors that I see. These are letdown errors, and that paved the way pretty much for Carew to break Govan right here and get back into the match. So how do you avoid these letdown errors? Well, I actually liked what Govan did when he won that love 15 point here, going back here and, was taking his time, sticking his tongue out, and, was talking to Winston, trying to gather himself. I liked what he did there. He took his time, but I don't think he was aware of the situation. So the main thing is you have to be aware of these letdown errors. When you're on this mental high or physical high, you got to remember there's another point to be played here. And, if Govan had won this game, I don't see Carew getting back from 6-1 in this pro set. So it was a very critical game. Govan had still some opportunities to win this match, but, I think this was a critical turning point. You just can't have these letdown errors. You really have to stay focused, and especially against Carew, against these top-level players who are smart and will do anything to get back into the match. So be aware of these letdown errors. Try not to let a letdown happen to you. If you enjoyed this video, kindly do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.